Hi, my name's Reese, I'm 24 years old and 12 months from now I'll be doing my first ever Ironman race.
The Ironman, the hardest race on the planet. 140 miles of grit, determination and unwavering discipline. A 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and as if that wasn't already enough, a marathon. A race only 0.01% of the world's population has ever completed.
So an Ironman is a 140 mile race, and it's funny really, when I first started thinking about doing this, all my friends, all my family told me, they were like, maybe you should do a half first. And straight away, I thought back to the time of when I ran my first marathon. I remember having a conversation with my dad in the pub the other day about when I did my first marathon a couple of years ago, and funnily enough we were laughing because everyone said the exact same thing then. Don't you think you should do a half first? And it wasn't until after I finished with near to no training that I think everyone finally realised that when I've got a goal in my mind, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm not going to go down the easy route. I'm going to make sure I give it absolutely everything that I've got. So next year, Cascais, Portugal, that's exactly what we'll be doing. Obviously, it goes without saying that there's going to be a hell of a lot of training involved, not just because it takes a very long time to build up to the fitness standard that's required to do an Ironman, but also because 2 of the 3 skills involved I've never really done before. Running wise, I'm great. I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable finishing the marathon, but cycling and swimming wise, I think it's safe to say they're going to need some work. I think the Ironman for me and for a lot of people represents a new beginning. You know, whether you're on a journey of weight loss or you're trying to find some purpose in your life, for me it's becoming the man that I knew I always could be and the man that deep down I know I am. It's about proving to other people and showing them that whether it's the Ironman or in that case any goal that you've set in your life, no matter how crazy it is, you're capable of absolutely anything that you set your mind to. Ooh, here we fucking go. The time is currently 5:43 in the morning on a Saturday morning. Are we okay? Clearly not. So today we've got a 40-mile bike ride, longest one I've ever done. So we're making sure, obviously we're up early, making sure we get plenty of fuel down us beforehand. So this is the fuel we're consuming. We've got 2 slices of sourdough, plenty of honey, banana, and a Gold bar, which all in all is about 80 grams of carbs. Gonna get this down us, and then during the ride we've also got 2 of these, so 2 full water bottles of G1M Sport, which for anyone that doesn't know is just like a carb powder. So each one of those each scoop of that has 20 grams of carbs, and we've got 2 scoops in one and 1 scoop in the other. So all in all, we've got 2 water bottles with a total of 60 grams of carbs and 1,050 milligrams of sodium. Holy shit. Holy shit, mate. I'm so disorientated after that, it's crazy. But yeah, man, we done it, 40 miles. 40 fucking miles, first ever 40 miler. What did we do it in? 2 hours 15-ish, which is, you know, a little over what we expected, but I did a warm up, averaged around like 160, 170 watts, and then did a little cool down as well. All in all, I mean, if it was best effort, I could definitely do a 2 hour 40 miler. So yeah, happy with that. Not felt like I'm absolutely exhausted by the end of it as well. Like, don't get me wrong, my legs are fucked. Like, my legs feel dead, like muscular endurance wise, but cardio wise, I feel sweet. Like, if my legs weren't tired, I could just, you know, I could go and do some sprints or something, but honestly, I couldn't think of anything fucking worse to do right now. So I was listening to this podcast throughout it. You know, I'm sat on the bike for 2 hours and a little over 2 hours. So I tend to stick a podcast on. I was listening to David Goggins, and he was talking about this idea of these mental labs and these 1 second battles that you have with yourself, these 1 second decisions that your mind has with itself throughout these races. It really resonated with me, not only because I had about 1 million on that 40-mile ride, but I've never really heard it be explained in that way before. And throughout these rides that you have, so that 40-miler, your long runs, your long swim sessions, maybe any endurance sport, it's a weird kind of trick that your mind plays on you, because cardiovascular wise you can breathe, you feel like you're fine, but your mind is almost telling you to give up all the time. And you've got to be able to train your mind to cancel out those thoughts and overcome that voice inside your head that tells you to stop, or that tells you, 70% of what you set out to do is enough. So like then, for example, I'm doing 40 miles. I know I've said to myself, I'm going to do 40 miles. But at 20, 30 miles, I start to get tired and my mind goes, maybe we should stop now. It says, okay, you've worked hard, you've put in your effort, let's just go to 30. And so I'm constantly having to kind of have these battles with my mind, and that's what you have to do, is throughout these longer rides, throughout these longer sessions, your mind plays tricks on you, and you have to constantly overcome those thoughts. And it is just a mental struggle. But that's why I say about endurance sports, like it's less about being physically fit and more about being mentally sound, mentally strong. The end goal obviously being the Ironman race, the 140 plus miles. It's hard to see me putting myself through something like that now, but that's the whole point in setting yourself a goal. You set yourself a big goal, and then along the way, along the path, along the journey, you've got these smaller goals that if you keep ticking off, eventually, before you know it, you'll, time will have come where you're ticking off that big goal. And for me, it's doing these little 40-mile rides and then progressively increasing the amount of miles that I can do. So next month it might be 50 miles, the month after it'll be 60. Before I know it, I'm doing 112, and then I'm at the 140-mile mark. Moral of the story is, no matter how big the goal is, I think if you set yourself smaller goals on the path to trying to achieve that bigger goal, you will get there, and you're capable of absolutely anything that you set your mind to. Absolutely anything. What was your first reaction when I told you I was going to sign up for a full Ironman?
Oh, here we go again. I know what this lad's like, and I know how dedicated he is to whatever he puts his mind to. So I'm fully supportive and just like, yeah, I'm always interested to know what he's actually doing, because he'll say Ironman, I'm like, I thought maybe that's just like a marathon or something, and then he goes off to say, he's got a 2-mile swim, he's got a bike 140 kilometres or whatever, then he's got a full marathon after it. So yeah, it always surprises me, but I'm always not surprised at the same time. When he puts his mind to something, he will learn everything he needs to know about it. He will analytically down to a T his whole training plans, and to be fair, he sticks to it for the majority of the time, which leads me on maybe his weakness is sometimes there's always a risk that he'll drop off just near the end because he moves on to the next thing that he's really interested to. I get that myself because I'm like that too, but that is the risk in this. It's keeping himself dedicated right till the end, which I'm sure he will do. There's a few things he likes to do a lot, and I appreciate that, because like I said, I like to do a lot. And is he going to finish this? I've been to Cascais and I've seen how hilly it is, and I've seen how windy it is, and I'm going to constantly be in his ear about this to put doubts in his mind just because I'm an absolute arsehole. But no, I think he's 100% going to do it. I wish I was kind of going out there to see it. Maybe I'll book a flight out if I can last minute and go and see, because I'd love to be there at the finish line and just be, because I've been at the start of this process, and it'd just be great to see him cross that line and just be fucking buzzing with himself. Like I said, his upbringing, the trauma he's had to suffer there, what he's had to do to get over that, and this is just another feat in the art of Reece Wood.
It's the day after the dreaded 40 mile yesterday, and I say dreaded, but we're actually feeling really fucking good. Like, I expected to be feeling a hell of a lot worse. My legs yesterday, it was almost like I had in my mind that, like, tomorrow I'm not going to be able to walk. I woke up this morning feeling fairly fresh. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my legs are like tight and they're not 100%, but I'd say they're probably like 90% still, which I just did not expect whatsoever. Plan for today is a 7-mile run. So we've got, again, a couple pieces of sourdough with some honey, a Go bar with a coffee, just to keep us fueled up throughout the run. Running wise, I don't usually tend to take anything with me unless it's anything more than kind of like 7 miles. I think anything more than 7 miles, after that I start kind of, you know, needing gels and electrolytes, all that sort of stuff. So today we're just going to do it raw, just going to raw dog it, and then yeah, see how we feel after. Here we are, post 7 miles then. So I'll put up the little screenshot of the little recap, pacing and whatnot above here. You can probably tell from the attire, we've got changed, had a shower, chilled out for a bit. So during that run, I just wanted to share something with you that I was kind of constantly thinking about, really. I had this thought, and it was a thought of gratitude and kind of where I'm at now compared to where I was, you know, even just a few months ago. I feel like when it comes to Ironman training, it's very easy to fall into the trap of not recognizing how far you've actually come, because, you know, you go from wherever you've started, either having zero fitness or, you know, a base level of fitness, to this incredible level of athlete that you need to become in order to finish the Ironman race. You know, you go from running nothing or not being able to swim to swimming 2.4 miles, and you go from, you know, not even, for example, me ridden a road bike before to riding 112 miles. Every single week you're making these small increments, but because you're doing something every single day, you forget to take the time to realize how far you've actually come. And so I just kind of wanted to echo that and make sure that obviously everybody listening to this, you know, whether it be you're on a similar journey to me, whether you're trying to become an Ironman, or even if it's not an Ironman, whatever goal it is, whatever goal you've set yourself, whatever journey you're on, just to take some time to step back and appreciate how far you've come. Everyone says comparison is the thief of joy, but I think their interpretation of that is slightly wrong. Yeah, they're right, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people, but what you should be doing is constantly comparing your present self to your past self, so that your future self is better than your present self. And that's all you really need to do, you know? Day by day, you're going to be ticking off these goals, and before you realize, all of these smaller goals that you've set yourself are going to accumulate, are going to build up, and before you realize, before you know it, the day will come where it'll be race day. Moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is take the time to appreciate how far you've come, compare your present self to your past self, appreciate how far you've come, and keep working so that your future self will always be better than your present self. The aim with these videos is to be doing a 12-part series, so I'll have at least one episode released every single month. So like I say, if there's anything that you want to see in those, make sure you leave it down in the comments below. Goes without saying as well, make sure you turn on post notifications so that you're notified as soon as the next episode comes out. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you watched this far, make sure you press the like button. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next episode.